Since the launch of ChatGPT a few years ago, AI has completely shaken the entire world. And rightly so, because today AI can do things within seconds that earlier used to take hours or days or weeks. Let's be honest, today AI is impacting every single sector and industry. And in this journey, while on one side AI is killing a lot of repetitive jobs, on the other side it has created massive job opportunities. And companies that position themselves early around this AI have already been a massive wealth creator. There is no better example than Nvidia, which is already a few trillion-dollar company. Now there is one question that I keep getting is, Sahil, is there any pure play AI company in India? By the way, let me put it straight, AI is going to create massive opportunity in India. And one of the opportunities is in the form of data centers. Basically a place that would process terabytes and terabytes of data to generate information. And when we discuss data center, there are many companies that can benefit out of it. One such company I remember covering long back is NetWeb Technology. Although it is not a pure play AI company like OpenAI or Anthropic, NetWeb builds supercomputers that are required by AI for data processing. And it has been a big wealth creator so far. Now today there is one more Indian company that is getting listed in the market, and many people are saying that it is India's first pure play AI company. Company name is Fractal Analytics. The big question is Fractal Analytics really a pure play AI company? So I have done some research to understand company's business model that would help you get more clarity in terms of where does Fractal Analytics sit in the AI value chain. Second question is, many people are saying that AI itself is in bubble. In fact, many AI companies in the US are facing deep correction. So what are the risks of investing with Fractal Analytics? So in today's video, we will discuss the fundamentals of Fractal Analytics and decide if it is worth investing in the company or not. Personally, being an ex-data analytics consultant, I have done what Fractal is doing, and so I can relate to it more closely. By the way, if you are here to only make quick money from IPO, please skip the video. Just check the GMP and decide what to do. This video is only for those who really want to understand the business model, opportunities, risk, IPO details, and finally the valuations of Fractal Analytics. Alright, let's get started. To answer whether Fractal Analytics really is a pure play AI company or not, we first need to understand one simple thing. There is an entire value chain around AI. At the top of the AI value chain, you have companies like OpenAI and Anthropic. These companies are building the core AI models. GPT, Claude, these are foundation models. They are training massive models using huge data sets and insane computing power. This is extremely capital intensive, very risky, and also winner takes maximum market kind of business. Most companies in the world can't do this. Then you have companies like Nvidia. Nvidia does not build AI models, but it builds the most critical ingredient required for AI, that is computing hardware. GPUs, data center chips, networking. Without Nvidia hardware, none of these AI models can even exist. Basically, Nvidia benefits no matter which AI model wins. Then you have companies like Palantir. Now Palantir is closer to application layer. It does not build the foundation models. What it does is, it takes data, analytics, AI, software and embed it deeply into customer workflows. Be it defense sector, government, enterprises, it sits between raw AI capability and real world decision making. Now where does Fractal Analytics sit? So Fractal does not build foundation models like OpenAI or Anthropic. It does not build hardware like Nvidia. It's also not a horizontal AI platform like Palantir. Fractal sits at the enterprise AI solution layer. What Fractal actually does is, it takes AI, machine learning, analytics, and now of course generative AI and applies them to a very specific business problem. Things like customer analytics, pricing decision, demand forecasting, marketing optimization, risk modeling, fraud detection, insurance analytics, healthcare analytics, and so on. Basically, it helps large enterprise make better decisions using AI and data. Let me take a few examples to help you understand it better. Let's take a large FMCG company. They already have sales data, distributor data, ad spend data, pricing data. But the problem is, all this data sits in different systems, and managers are still making decisions based on gut feel and past experience. So Fractal builds a system that looks at which products are selling in which cities, how pricing changes are impacting the volume, whether ad spend is actually translating into demand, what will likely happen next quarter if prices are increased. So these are some of the examples. So instead of a marketing head saying, let's increase ad spend, The system would tell that in these 20 cities, price sensitivity is high, so ads won't help. Pricing needs to change. And this is one example of how AI is driving the business decision. Now let's take a bank or an NBFC. So banks have tons of data, but the risk is always the same. Who will default and who won't? Fractal builds risk and fraud models that analyze customer behavior, track transaction pattern, flag abnormal activity, and predict the probability of default. So the bank can approve the loan faster, reduce the NPS, and catch fraud earlier. Earlier, all this analysis sat inside the dashboard that only data teams would understood. But with generative AI, that is also called Gen AI, Fractal is now building systems where business users can ask questions in plain English and reports can generate it automatically. So a CEO can literally ask, why are margins falling in South India despite stable volume? And the system would explain it. That's what Fractal actually does. Using AI to improve real business decision, not building AI models themselves. So if OpenAI is building the brain, NVIDIA is building the engine, Fractal is the company that is using that brain and engine to actually solve business problems for clients. This is an important distinction. Fractal may use GPT, Claude, open source model, or it may have its own model internally. But the client is not buying AI models from Fractal. The client is buying solutions, that is outcome, better decision, higher efficiency, better ROI, better customer insight. So coming back to the original question, is Fractal a pure play AI company? The answer is no. It is not in the sense like OpenAI, Anthropic, NVIDIA, or even Palantir. So if you think in layers, OpenAI, Anthropic, NVIDIA build the engine, Palantir build the AI operating system, Fractal build the AI-driven business solution on top. Hope it gives you a clear understanding in terms of where does Fractal Analytics sit in the entire AI value chain. Next question is, how does Fractal Analytics make money? So when you read the RHP, company says that Fractal operates under two segments, Fractal.ai and Fractal Alpha. First, Fractal AI is company's core business. It includes both AI services and AI product. The centerpiece here is something called Cogentic. Now, Cogentic is not an AI model like GPT or Claude. It is an agentic AI platform. Think of Cogentic as a layer that sits on top of AI model and help enterprises build AI-driven applications faster and more safely. It comes with pre-built agents, tools, connectors, security, governance, audit trail, and low-code capability. So instead of a company starting from scratch every time like data cleaning, model integration, compliance, access control, Cogentic provides a ready framework. This reduces the time to market and makes AI usable inside the large organization. In simple terms, OpenAI gives you the intelligence. Cogentic helps you deploy that intelligence inside an enterprise. This is where Fractal is trying to move from pure services to platform-led implementation. But the key point is, services are still required to customize, integrate, and run this platform for clients. This is the cash generating and steady part of the company business. Then second aspect is the Fractal Alpha. This is more interesting and also more risky. Fractal Alpha is a collection of independent AI businesses, each run under separate management. These businesses target Fractal's existing large customer as well as new market and geographies. Think of this as Fractal incubating or acquiring smaller AI-led businesses that focuses on specific industries, specific geographies, or specific AI use case. Please note that at the moment it is not the core steady enterprise service business. This is Fractal taking optionality bet where some may scale well, some may not. So from an investor point of view, Fractal Alpha is not about near-term profitability, it's about future growth optionality. And naturally, execution risk here is higher. Now if you look at company's financials, its revenues have grown at 29% CAGR rate in last year and 26% in trailing 12 months. So growth is not exponential like OpenAI or NVIDIA, but at the same time, growth is excellent. Next, if you look at the margins and operating profit, it is very volatile. It was 12% in 21, then went to negative, then improved to 3% and now back to 12%. That resulted in high volatility in operating profit and net profits. Here it's important to understand the margin profile because it answers a lot about company's nature of business. So Fractal's operating margin is volatile mainly because it is not a pure product or SaaS company yet. A large part of revenue still comes from AI services and project-based work. Services are lower margin and lumpy, where margins change depending on project mix, deal timing, and client deployment. One quarter may have more higher margin work, another may be heavy on implementation. Second, the platform side, which is Cogentic, is still in investment mode. And product businesses need upfront spending on R&D, sales, talent before the scale kicks in. So company is investing a lot in R&D. That keeps the margin uneven in the short term. Third, it is a talent intensive business. Data scientists, AI engineers, they are expensive and utilization swings directly impact the margin. So here the key thing to track going forward would be if platform revenue rises and services becomes a smaller share, margin should stabilize and expand. At the moment, we don't have a nice breakup between the two of their business. So if Fractal continues to be a service heavy business, margins may remain volatile. Apart from revenue and profit growth and operating margin, if you look at the return ratio, it's not looking great at the moment. Debt to equity is under control, but one thing that stood out was its cash conversion ability. Company is generating massive cash from operation. So overall, top line growth is solid, cash generation is exceptional, but margins have been volatile in the past and need to be tracked closely. Now, next question you should ask is, what are the opportunities and challenges for the business? Let's have a look. First, if we look at the opportunity, Fractal is positioned in a part of the AI value chain where actual spending is happening today. Large enterprises don't just want access to AI models. They want AI to improve pricing, reduce the risk, optimize demand, detect fraud, and improve customer decision. And most organizations today are not equipped to do this on their own because data is messy, systems are old, and governance requirements are strict. As AI adoption increases, this implementation gap becomes bigger, not smaller. That directly benefits companies like Fractal. Its strength lies in combining domain knowledge with AI and embedding it into enterprise workflow. If platforms like Cogentic gain the wider adoption, Fractal can slowly shift from project-based work to more repeatable and platform-led revenue. Now, if you look at the challenges, today foundation model companies like Anthropic are no longer just selling the raw models. The latest enterprise update focus on governance, agent workflow, and integration. These are the areas that were earlier handled by solution providers like Fractal. This can reduce the amount of custom AI work that was required for certain use cases and can directly put pressure on services revenue. And this is by far the single biggest risk for companies like Fractal. After the latest update by Anthropic, there's a massive correction in the entire global software sector, including Indian companies. So at the moment, it's very difficult to gauge how much Anthropic latest update can impact companies like Fractal. But this is something we need to track very closely. Also, large consulting and IT service firms are aggressively pushing enterprise AI solution using the same underlying models. They already have deep client relationship and scale, which increases competition and limits the pricing power. So if Fractal remains largely service driven and fails to meaningfully grow its platform business, margins and differentiation will remain constrained. So the bottom line is, while opportunity is structural, so is competition. Fractal future depends on execution, especially its ability to move up the value chain from AI implementation to AI platform and embedded decision system. Here I'd like to quickly discuss the leadership team of Fractal, because I always say that leadership is most important pillar of a business. So first co-founder of the company is Mr. Srikanth. He co-founded the company in year 2000 and also served as the group chief executive and executive vice chairman. He has done his B.Tech in electrical engineering from IIT Delhi and MBA from IIM Ahmedabad. Second co-founder is Pranay Agrawal and he is the CEO of company. He has done Bachelor's of Commerce and Postgraduate Management Diploma from IIM Ahmedabad. Both of them are widely recognized in the industry for deep domain experience in analytics, AI and enterprise data. Company also has a solid team of professional leadership beyond just the founders, with domain experts running key units. So that builds a good credibility around leadership. Now let's take the final question. Is it worth applying for Fractal IPO for long term or not? First of all, let's have a quick look at the IPO details. So the IPO window is between 9th to 11th February, listing on 16th February, price band is between 857 to 900 per share. At upper price band, company is getting listed at market cap of around 15,500 crore. IPO size is around 2,800 crore, where 1,025 crore is fresh issue of equity and around 1,800 is offer for sale. Company has already raised around 1,250 crore from anchor investors at 900 per share. That include companies like Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, SBI Small Cap Fund, LIC, ICICI Prudential, HDFC Life and so on. So the response from top institutions shows Fractal has a solid business potential. Now the only big question is, how is the valuation? So first of all, company's earning growth has been quite volatile in the past. Hence, it would be difficult to assign a right valuation today because the margins have been volatile because of all the R&D work and a lot of development going on. Still, if you look at company's FY25 earning, its P ratio is around 70 times and price to sale is 5.6 times. So current valuations are factoring a lot of AI-led optimism. But my concern is the competition risks are also real and AI market is still evolving. I wish the valuations were a little better. No wonder company's GMP is very less. So overall, if you are buying Fractal Analytics thinking that this is a clean AI product company that will suddenly scale 5 to 10 times, that expectation is wrong. But if you understand this is a steady enterprise AI business with a few asymmetric bets on the side, then the risk reward makes more sense. Personally, I won't jump immediately, but would certainly keep it on my watch list as a promising AI enterprise play from India. So this is it from my side. Hope you got a good clarity in terms of Fractal Analytics business and where it stands in the entire AI value chain, along with opportunities and challenges. Now you tell me in the comment, are valuations justified to apply for the IPO for medium to long term? Or would you like to wait and watch company's progress first? Thank you for watching this video. If you find it useful, do share it within your circle. I'll see you next video. Till then, take care.